it's just the same. Believe it then till you're calling my name. Running from nothing, dying to get ahead. I can't believe this is happening again. I swear I said so. Stay calm, carry on, carry on. All right. Good evening. Welcome to Artist Waves Live. My name is Jeff Gorra. Good Friday evening for what we were calling Thursday Night Lights. Thursday Night Lights on a Friday night. So I guess it's Friday Night Lights, or is it Thursday Night Lights on a Friday night? Whatever, you decide. Anyway, welcome. Happy Friday evening. Happy almost weekend, wherever you are. And here we go. Season 3, episode 2 of Thursday Night Lights. As you may have figured out from the first episode, we have a drink partner to have a little cheers with us, to have a little campfire vibe. And tonight, couldn't be more excited to have XOBC Cellars. Boom. This is actually Brandy Carlisle and her wife Catherine. This is their, their wine company, in addition to some partners that they have. Shout out Jerry and the XOBC Cellars crew. So they were kind enough to partner with us, and tonight we're going to be sipping some of their red wine called Crowded Table. It's a 2019. Crowded Table is a nod to the Highwaymen song, which is a supergroup Brandy Carlisle did. So sip with us, have some red wine with us. Check out xobccellars.com. What I want to say about them is that they benefit, basically everything they do benefits Brandy Carlisle's Looking Out Foundation, which helps fund and empower a lot of great organizations. So please check out XOBC Cellars. Cheers to Crowded Table. I'm going to pour a little red wine. I hope you have one or something like it. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to put this glass right here, the nice glass, and I am going to sip out of this Artist Waves little Yeti glass, because if I drink from that, there is no doubt that I will break it and it will fall, and I don't want to do that. So, cheers. Tonight's interview guest, Allison Miller. Allison Miller from the show A Million Little Things on ABC. It was on Wednesday night, 10 o'clock. Allison plays Maggie Bloom. I told you we were expanding our reach in terms of people that we're connecting with here, and still talking about music and all of the inspiration behind their art. Allison's going to be joining us from the West Coast, so I think it's happy hour. In addition to being an actress, Allison is also a musician. She plays some guitar, she sings, I think she might play piano too. So the theme of our conversation, for the most part, is going to be about the inspiration of music and influence of music in her life. So Allison will be joining us shortly, and we'll chat, we'll toast, we'll cheers, and away we will go. Before we do that, I'm also going to talk to you quickly about my friends at Disco, Let's Disco. This is the Disco Eye Stick. Comes in this little fancy tube, which is great. Here's what you do. When you're tired, when you got some bags under your eyes, when you're running around, you want to freshen up a little bit, I take this Disco Eye Stick, I run it under here, boom, takes it away. You wouldn't even know that I was up all night last night, would you? Disco Eye Stick. Let's Disco is their tag. Let's Disco is their website. And I'm happy to have Let's Disco as a partner of Artist Waves Live. I think Allison Miller is here. So how about we chat about some music, about some A Million Little Things, and have a nice little Friday evening. So I'm going to offer an invitation here for Allison to join us live, and away we go. Hello, Allison.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, doing well. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for joining Artist Waves on a Friday evening. It's awesome to have you here to speak with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's
Are
very
you in Vancouver?
I am. Yeah, where are you?
I'm in Boston,
Boston.
right outside Boston. So, yeah, so I know well, I'm in the theme of where your show is,
Yeah,
technically.
and we like to pretend that we know exactly where that is.
So do you guys always shoot in Vancouver? Always
We
have?
do. We do,
Okay.
and we talked about how fun it would be to go shoot some exteriors in Boston. The only time we ever got to go there was while we weren't filming. We went to a Celtics game as like a cast and went and hung out with some kids at a performing arts school. So been there once.
Well, very cool. So now I know not to go roaming around the city looking to be an extra because you guys are on the opposite side of
Yeah, that would be an
the.
activity.
Well, welcome to Artist Waves Live. It's awesome to be speaking with you. And given a little intro about what's going on with A Million Little Things and a little bit about your background. But I would be a poor host and guest if I didn't extend a little happy hour cheers. So kind of what we do is we have a drink partner. And if you so please, you can sip your drink throughout our little campfire discussions here as part of our thing. No pressure. It is 5 o'clock on the West Coast, so totally up to you. But I would be a poor mannered host if I didn't at least extend.
I should have grabbed something. I have Swedish fish.
That counts.
That's gonna be my drink for the
That
evening.
that definitely counts. Just so you know, this is actually Brandy Carlisle's wine. I don't know if you're a fan of the legendary Brandy Carlisle, but we're sipping her little Washington Valley vineyard
Ah, that's
creation here.
so awesome. I did not know she had a wine. Now I have to. What's it called?
It's called XOBC Sellers. So I
Okay.
think her and her wife are a partner in it, but they're
Ah,
great people and they support the Looking Out Foundation. So it's nothing but good all around.
that's the best. Cheers to that.
Cheers. So how are you? How are you doing? How's everything with filming and directing? How are you doing?
I'm great. I finished mostly filming my episode last week, and I'm supposed to be seeing first cut tonight. So that's really exciting. We have a couple more things to film. As with everything, COVID has proven challenging with getting everything done, get everything good, and I had the best time. And so now we're wrapping up the season. We've got a few more episodes and then we're done and on hiatus and finding out if we get another season or not.
Right on. Well, I hope you do because one of the things that I love about A Million Little Things, we're going to talk about music, but I have to hit this first because I think it's an important point is that obviously I think throughout every season the show has always touched upon some important, really important and powerful subject matters, um, but delivered it in such a graceful way that when you watch it, it's relaxing.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah. Oh, nice.
I mean, there's some really important and some stuff in there that is very serious to be taken seriously. But I just got a lot of. I think I interpreted it so much better because of the way that it was delivered so gracefully, and you could still sit back and have that time of that night and have it be your hour or whatever, and make it very. It just had it continues to have an inspiring effect.
That's really cool. We always hope that it's going to be like that. And I think so much of what makes it really palatable and easy to watch is the friendship and the humor that kind of balances out everything that's so heavy that we deal with. And I'm glad that I'm just glad to be part of a show that gets to talk about really important stuff in public.
Well, I think it makes its way pretty well into the hearts and minds and living rooms of a lot of people. So, cheers to you guys for the work you do there.
Thank
There is a lot of music in the show. I gravitate towards the musical moments, and I find that there are a lot of musical undertones throughout. Do you find that too?
Yeah, it plays a huge part, and we've had the same music supervisor since the beginning. His name's Gabe Mann. He composes a lot of the music for it, and he performs a lot of it. You'll hear him singing on the show all the time. And yeah, there's always a conversation about in the script. You'll see what song's going to be playing over the end, like montage. We even have I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this. We have a famous musician who's coming and playing himself in a couple episodes from now. Um, let's just say he's a man down under. Uh,
Ah,
that
hmm.
thing.
That is very interesting. I was not who I was going to guess. I was thinking maybe Dave Grohl because you teased him this week, and that guitar was actually kind of a replica of his signature blue guitar.
Yeah, I brought it back in the episode I directed because I am such a big Dave Grohl fan.
Oh, that's awesome. There's
Yeah.
a framed photo on our wall here of a show where we photographed him. I am too. He's the man, most charismatic rock star.
So fun.
Nice. So music for you, and I know it's an important part of your artistic endeavors and your career. Um, how did music start for you? Were you like pushed towards it as a young age? Did you just love it from as far back as you can remember?
Yeah, I loved music from the beginning. I mean, I have like very vivid memories of listening to Fleetwood Mac and Bob Dylan and Bon in the car with my parents and at home. And my mom's very musical. She's always in a choir or a singing group of some kind. And they got me, I think they recognized that I was just into it. And so they got me piano lessons when I was 6 and just kind of went from there, got in musical theater. um, yeah, it's always been around. And I'm so glad it is because it's something that it crosses over into my work, but it also is like a really great break from it if I'm having a really intense week with heavy emotional work. I come home and I can just kind of like play the guitar, play the piano, and it's almost like it works all of that out of my system in a different way.
I hear that. It works its magic.
Yeah,
Never fails to work its magic. So was piano your first instrument?
it was. Yeah, and still my best instrument. I have my beautiful Gretsch right here that I don't feel like I deserve to own because I'm not good enough to play it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my treasured possession because I don't have a piano in Vancouver, so I've been working on getting better at the guitar too.
Well, you've shared a lot about it, and I wouldn't have thought that you were relatively new to the guitar by how you performed and played some of those renditions.
That's
Um,
nice.
um, so your path as an artist, was it ever that you wanted to pursue music first, or what because of this early influence, or was acting always the gig?
I don't know if I wanted to do either of those things as a career from the beginning. I did a lot of visual art, and I thought I originally got into Boston University to go to school for painting, and I thought I would maybe be doing that. Um, Clearly, nothing involving math or science was up for grabs for me, but yeah, I don't know. I never thought of acting or music as a career path, and I just kept coming back to both of them. And I don't know. I wish that I had like gotten in a band with friends and taken more initiative with that because I would love to have that. I mean, I've played with people later, but I didn't even really think about pursuing music in any sort of way until maybe around 30. Yeah.
Well, it's never too late.
Yeah. I'm planning on, I have a friend who's a really awesome musician who I admire, and she asked me if I would co-write a song with her. So that is my next project that I'll be doing once we wrap up the show.
Oh, that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
do you write a lot? Do you write a lot of music?
I started to a lot this year, actually. I was doing it before, and I co-wrote something with another band, my friend's band, Joy Downer. And I started taking this class online through School of Song. I don't
Yeah.
know. And it was so awesome. I took a class with Meg Duffy first, who goes by Hand Habits, and that just oh my gosh, it was so inspiring and so creatively fulfilling. And it just, once I started, it was like the floodgates open and I couldn't stop. And that went on for a few months and then I got busy. But I want to get back into it because it translates over too. You start getting creative, like using your brain in that way, and then suddenly writing scripts or thinking about acting in a different way or directing that starts opening up more too. It's just all kind of like symbiotic.
That's a very interesting point because as when you're writing songs or as a creative mind working on writing songs or music, do you find that it's a different, almost a different muscle than writing for acting or directing? Is it different paths?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Writing for writing a script is very structural and problem solving, and writing a song I feel like is so free form, and you kind of have to let go of structure for a while to let it happen, and then worry about the structure as you go along. So yeah, it's working different parts of your creative brain.
Yeah, and I would imagine one perhaps songs allows you to be a little bit more self-expressive and do whatever you want within the not within lines,
Yeah.
and the other is more.
I find it so, and I've said this to friends who are songwriters, I find it so vulnerable to write songs because you are putting yourself into these lyrics and your experience, and it's so personal. Whereas if you're writing characters, you can kind of hide behind those characters or hide behind the story or experience they're happening. Happening? That's a word, having.
Yeah, no, I totally relate to that because I played myself and wrote and did some songwriting and stuff. And when I first learned guitar, the first thing I wanted to do was just write songs. Like I didn't care about solos or scales or how good I was. I just wanted to be able to do that
Yeah.
expression piece of it. And that's what I kind of still do, even just like writing articles or whatever. But so I always find it interesting with those that do two or three different artistic things how different songwriting is for them.
Yeah. It's harder for me to share a song with someone than it is to share a script.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. More personal, but it feels so good when you got it right.
Yeah, it works out. It's really even more cathartic and exciting because it's like, oh, you actually like this thing that came directly out of my brain, and yeah,
yeah. Oh, you understand? You get it? That yeah, you liked that line. Okay.
yeah.
So when you're on set, when you're acting, do you have a guitar with you and downtime in your trailer?
The way that we shoot now, I never have any downtime, but I used to just keep one there. We do actually there's one of the sets on one of our stages where Catherine's house is. They have a piano in there. So a lot of the time between scenes, I'll sneak in there and like pull the plastic off of it and play. And so far, no one has told me that it's annoying and to stop. Usually it's They appreciate the sort of interlude while they're setting up the scene. Um, yeah, it's the best downtime outlet that there is. That and like needle pointing.
Nice, right on. So let's say you're in your trailer, hypothetical. You're
Mhm.
about to shoot a big scene that's primarily you. It's a big focal point of maybe a show. Let's call it like, I don't know, maybe a Super Bowl moment of the season.
Yeah, yeah.
What are you listening to? What's in your headphones to get you into that mind space that you want to be in?
Uh, it depends on the mood, but often because I am forced to be extremely emotional in these scenes, I go straight to Peter Gabriel's cover of Heroes.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's cool.
Oh, it gets me every time, and I don't know what it is or why, but it just works. Either that or the entire Little Earthquakes album
Mhm.
song on that works for me too. Especially, I feel like I identify this character with that album so much.
Yeah, that's an interesting connection. I could see that now that you say that. So, is this the same music that you would listen to if you are in your home office writing or working on how you're going to direct, or is that a different vibe?
That's definitely different. If I'm writing or thinking about directing, I actually have two artists that I've been listening to almost exclusively. One's Yasmin Williams,
Mhm.
who's an amazing guitarist, and the other is Aruj Aftab. I found both of them on Tiny Desk, and there's such a there's a much more ambient quality to it. And a lot of the time, if there are lyrics or if it's something that I really love and know already, I get distracted and just start living in the music instead of being able to focus on what I'm doing. But those two, Suzanne Sunfuhr, I wrote an entire screenplay just listening to her on repeat too.
That's cool. I think Vancouver too is a really under the radar, underground, cool music scene. It's
Yeah,
like, somewhat close to Seattle, and it
yeah.
always has some good stuff coming from Vancouver. There's always.
There's great stuff, and they have really good venues that are like walking distance for me. So when shows were happening, I would go just all the time. It's really accessible.
So transitioning music into current present day Million Little Things, is there any music, without giving something away about the actual musician you were referencing? Is there any other maybe songs that you are excited about that are making its way into the narrative of the show?
We got a Mazzy Star song coming up.
Oh, Mazzy Star.
Yeah,
Nice.
I know. I always love hearing any of their songs in shows and movies, and it reminds me of like the 90s sort of not rom-coms but like teen romance movies just transported immediately. So the last script I read that we did our table read for has that one playing over the montage at the end.
Oh, very cool. That
It's cool.
adds such a, I mean, it adds such a cool little parallel to the show, and matching the right music with the right dramatic script. Just,
Yeah,
it only enhances it.
it does. I think that I was just watching Yellow Jackets, and the music that they used in that show so perfect because it's all from the time period, the 90s. And then like that Kiss by a Rose song comes on, and it was just like, oh, I'm transported back in time to like riding back in my friend's Jeep listening to that, just like, this is the greatest song that's ever been written.
That seal, that's all he had to do.
That's all. And then he's done.
He made everybody cry, and now he's good.
Yeah, you can just hang out.
Might we see any of your music make its way into the show?
None this season. Maybe if we get another season, I'll get to do that. They've let me do some covers in previous years. That was so fun. But I haven't done anything. I haven't done any music this year. Last season, I got to sing the Golden Girls theme song, but very badly. And yeah, none so far. I haven't tried. I haven't asked.
Gotcha. Okay, so maybe
Maybe,
could happen. Could happen.
maybe.
We might have inspired it right here.
Yeah, there's a really high bar, I think, if we've got, just all of the musical references that we've already got in there. I would be like, I don't know if I feel ready to submit my own creation.
Well, what about your cover of Creep? That could have totally gone in somewhere. We're still good.
Thank you.
Oh, so nicely done.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Thank you.
So on that note, we have a little thing towards the end here that are like quick hit, rapid fire questions in relation to concerts in your life. That's kind of fun if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
All right. So first, my favorite question I ever ask. What was your first concert?
Okay. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was the Brian Setzer Orchestra. I remember seeing the Fugees very well, but I think Brian Setzer was before that.
Well, that's a good mix. That's a wide range of genres and powerful statements right there.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
And both awesome shows from what I remember when I was 12, 13.
So this one's a very mean question, I was told. What was your best concert? There's no wrong answers. Your favorite concert experience?
Well. Let's bring it full circle. Seattle, 2020, late February, Brandi Carlile played the Seattle Symphony, and I was front row with one of my friends from high school having a religious experience, and then the world shut down a week after that, so it was the best. And it was also so surreal because we were all talking like in the audience, like, oh, my friend had just come back from Ethiopia and she had a little cold, and we're like, gosh, I hope it's not that new thing that's going around. But this show, so spectacular.
Front row too. Wow, that's amazing. I had no idea. Obviously, it just so happens to be that Brandy's kind of here with us.
Yeah.
And her wine is fantastic. So that's so funny. That's awesome. I remember following that show from afar.
Yeah.
Because ever since she performed, I was always a fan. But when she performed on the Grammys that night, that was something I have never experienced in my life. So
magical. I was at a show. I was in San Diego or near San Diego with some friends who were playing this little festival. It was like a brand new festival, and I didn't know who else was there. And so we're just kind of like walking around in the crowd, and then suddenly she came out and she was doing the Led Zeppelin California cover that was, and I just burst into tears immediately. It was like, I can't believe this is happening. She's magic.
Do you like her new record?
I do.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's really good. I remember I just took it for a bike ride when it first came out. I was like, I just got to go by myself. Just hop on my bike. I think I fell off my bike into a tree during When You're Wrong or something like that. I was like, you got to stop doing this to me.
Yeah.
No, it's great. So that's so cool. All right, one more. What is the next concert you have on tap that you are going to?
Well, I'm really hoping that I can go to the Pitchfork Festival in Chicago this summer. Mitski is playing, and I really, really want to see Mitski live.
That would be great. I love Pitchfork. Always has a good line.
Yeah. There's some people I've never heard of too, and I just want to go see what that's all about.
Nice. Well, hopefully that happens and you go check it out. Is there an artist that a musician you would collaborate with in any way?
I would be so intimidated to collaborate with the people that I love. And I will say the person who asked me to write with her, who I was just so incredibly flattered and excited, is her name's Priscilla Ahn. and she's amazing. So yes, I want to collaborate with her. I'm planning on it. I mean, other than that, I don't know. Dolly Parton. I'd love to write a song with Dolly Parton.
That's a good answer. Dolly, if you're watching, let's come
You
on.
know she is.
I made a big statement this week at the Rock Hall. I support it. It was awesome. Well, that's great. Thank you for sharing and being open to talking some music. Have you ever toured or played live or played some small clubs around the city?
I have played live in LA. I was playing with my friend's band and kind of coming on doing some stuff that we had written together. And pretty sure I did a Brandy cover and some other stuff. But I haven't done that in a long time. Oh, there's actually a thing up here. One of the coolest things that happens in Vancouver, speaking of music around here, the crews of all the TV shows and films set up this show that hasn't happened in a couple of years, but it's called the Hunker Down Showdown. And it's a battle of bands where people from all departments on the show get together, rehearse a bunch of covers, like 5 songs for a couple months, and then get together and do this competitive, amazing live show. Hundreds of people show up, the whole crew that they work with. And it's just, I did that a few years ago, and it was one of the most fun live music experiences I've had too.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing.
It's the best. I hope it can happen again maybe next year.
Yeah. Wow. That'd be great. I could see that type of vibe and your music lending well to, speaking of wine, the city winery venues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some wineries, that would be awesome.
Yeah. What was it? Actually, wait a second. Wasn't the story in Brandi Carlile's The Story in an episode once?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I tweeted about it and she liked it. That's right. I forgot.
Awesome. You know what? I have one question that I'm going to get kicked for about a million little things because I'm drawing a blank on it. I'm up to speed. I know everything, I think, but I'm drawing a blank on this and it's driving me crazy. So
yeah,
maybe you can fill me in.
Okay.
Does Maggie know that Gary did what he did or was participated in the attack of that music teacher? Does she know that?
I think she does. I think she knows that he went there but didn't beat the man within an inch of his life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Gotcha.
She makes everyone makes a lot of choices that I would not make.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. I had a feeling that was where it was, but I wasn't sure if I was missing something there. So I have one last thing, if you don't mind. I have one last thing that I always like to end on an inspirational note. And even though that's what Artist Waves is all about, the ripple effect of really inspiring artists and how music influences their life and how it then extends out into the greater community and makes such an impact, a positive impact on people, which is really why I was so excited that we got to connect, because I think your artistic endeavors exemplify that. But what I would like to ask is, I don't really ask this question very often, but there's a community here in this Boston area that is really outside of the schools, that is really empowering young women specifically to pursue the arts in whichever way they so desire, whether it's acting or playing an instrument or singing, whatever. And it's awesome. So I'm wondering, like, what would you say to someone from that, a little kid, 7 years old, that would come to you and say, what would you tell me? What advice? Is there something that you would say to someone looking to start that path?
Yeah. I would say if you are able to, just start taking classes in whatever you're interested in. If it's at like a community center, if there's something you can do online, I think that just engaging in that way and meeting other people who want to learn about the same things as you is the most impactful way to get an entree in. Um, and it can always it's hard to find the beginning. Like how do you get started acting? How do you get started with music? And I also think that the internet and YouTube is like the most incredible resource. You don't have to go anywhere and you can learn how to play the guitar. You can watch acting classes. You can figure out. I've taken painting courses online. Um, so whatever resources you have, just try to start learning rather than jumping in and trying to start just doing it right away.
That's an important point. Get the fundamentals and
Yeah,
then
and then
as you please.
and if it's in person and you can take classes and you meet other people and you're like, hey, you want to start a band? Hey, do you want to try this scene and maybe we record it and try to make a movie or something? It's just like those little, just tiny steps.
Awesome. Well, that was a very important note and really profound and insightful advice. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for spending 30 minutes of your Friday with Artist Waves and sharing some stories and your musical background. It was so awesome.
Thank you for having me. It's really nice, and I like what you're doing. It's fun to hear other people talk about music too. So thanks for having me.
Oh, anytime. It was a pleasure, and we will be looking out for your episode 17, is it?
It should be, I think, in May.
Very cool. So nice. Well, Wednesdays at 10 before that, and then we'll look out for that and hopefully some music from you too.
Yeah, I gotta get back into that. I've got to play an instrument that is just next to me.
That is an instrument that I would I don't know if I'd be like, I don't know if I could touch it. Just sit there
I,
and smile at me.
I'm in, and it's looking at me right now.
Nice. Well, Allison, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and I appreciate all your time. It was really great to speak with you.
Thank you. You too. Have a
All
good
right.
weekend.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
All right. That was fun. Okay, Bong, don't you think? We're making waves. All right. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. That was a really nice way to start the weekend. Nice happy hour. Cheers with Crowded Table from XOBC Cellars. Really enjoyed hearing Allison's background and her influence and continued inspiration in music and how it carries over into her other artistic endeavors. So in Vancouver, in Denver's, whatever. Thank you. See you next Thursday. My guest is Omari Banks, who's a reggae artist who I have a really cool story about. And he's a great guy with an incredible voice. And we'll hear his Island Jam story and a couple more. So until then, thank you, XOBC Sellers. Cheers. Go on into your weekend and spread a little inspiration that we got from Allison tonight. And until next time, aloha means goodbye. Drop something.